All a bit late. Rob was sitting there on his own for about half an hour.
I'm sorry. I normally put in an alert, but I didn't get the alert because I didn't get the link. So I'm innocent.
It is. It actually is innocent. It's my fault. I sent it to the wrong Ed, who hasn't turned up either.
Hasn't no. I mean, Ed Smith. Where's Ed Smith?
I don't even know who Ed Smith is.
Ed
Who's
Smith.
folks. Who's Ed Smith? Anyway, he was invited and he hasn't turned up. So
So I'm setting an alarm a different way. That was silly of me. Okay, cool. We're all here.
Hello, me five.
no need to panic at all.
No, nothing. Everything's fine.
You won't realise what we're talking about, guys. At dead on 2 o'clock, Rob was the only person on the call, so it was he was getting a bit antsy.
You guys get my underwear bill.
Well, we like to leave things right to the last second.
No, we rehearse and do very dedicatedly, and we do rehearse on Saturday, guys, and talk about what's coming up. And
Very good episode this week, an unusual one. Another, I mean, it's probably sounding like a broken record, but quite difficult to make.
yeah, Ed, yeah, okay, you played that card, love. All right.
Yeah.
I honestly thought that this, in terms of the demands on the director, would be one of the easier challenges. That's all I bleeding know, isn't it?
Yeah. On paper, it looks easy. Wait till you have to actually do it.
Were you ever tempted? I mean, it's interesting. Obviously, you've done the swap by dubbing the voices onto the other actor.
Yes.
Were you ever tempted, particularly with Chris's known skills? Was it a temptation to ask them to play each other?
It was, to be honest, yeah. And it would have, I think, obviously, that would have been a lot easier. But why make it easier when you can make it a little bit more complicated?
I've got a question, Ed, just to interrupt, sorry,
Yes.
from Alan Ronald, and it needs to go now. Question for Ed. Was this series difficult to make? And if so, why doesn't he mention it?
And
Thank you.
as a
Thank
follow-up
you.
question, Ed, was any episode a doddle to make?
I'll come back to you on that. Actually, I think probably the easiest one to shoot, although there was difficulties with electronically, but the easiest one to shoot was Marooned, I think, because it was all there, all nice.
That wasn't straightforward. No, listen, in my career, there are two kinds of directors. There are directors who say, oh, you can't do that, go back and rewrite it and throw it in the bin. And there are directors who say, yeah, fine, and don't tell you how horrible a nightmare you've given them. Jeff Posner, Ed Bye are the two best at that.
Thank you. We do like to do it though later, 20 odd years later, we like to bitch about it.
Here on these Sunday afternoons, guys, just imagine living with this for the last 30 years. It's so hard, Paul. It's so hard what you do. Honestly, I don't know why you couldn't have done it yourself.
So I thought it was going to be fairly straightforward, that the actors would just mouth each other's parts. And we discussed whether or not we'd pre-record the voices and play them in live, or whether we'd actually get them to do it, sort of an impersonation live, and then dub the voices on afterwards. And what did we end up with, Ed? Because I honestly can't remember.
Well, we decided, I mean, I think that it was, apart from anything else, it was quite a fun technical challenge to make their two voices swap over. And it was then kind of a question of, when we were rehearsing it, was to see how close each could get to the other. And to be honest with you, there was quite a few times when Chris's voice obviously was so bang on accurate, you thought, maybe we should go that way.
Because they're doing all the mannerisms with their body. They're acting the other role anyway. It would seem
Absolutely.
to just let them do the lines.
It was just, I mean, I think it would have been unfair because Chris had a sort of facility to be able to do that better than Craig, simply because of the nature of the performer he is. Not saying Craig was bad, it's just that.
Yes, he was. There's more of a gulf than that.
Yeah.
Because Chris could do an impression. The way he formed his mouth was right for Craig to fill in. But Craig could not do a close impersonation of Chris's accent, and so his mouth shapes are always wrong.
Yeah.
Interesting fact, guys, all of you. The difference in regional dialects in England are actually down to 6 letters.
Oh.
Everybody agrees how to pronounce the consonants, and it's all about the vowels. So I get a bus, and Ed gets a bass. I have an aunt and he has an aunt. And that's the only difference.
Buzz is, it's the S that's different from the correct pronunciation, Rob, which is, of course, bus. You say, which is I get the buzz.
No, we don't say buzz. We might say
Say the word for a red thing that goes around London.
I'm not getting involved in this. This is going to end in a fight.
Go on.
bus. But
Bus, see? He doesn't do this properly, so it's all bollocks. What he's telling you now is the Chris Whitty School of Science. He'll give you a graph in a minute that shows that 50,000 people will be saying buzz by tomorrow morning.
Yeah, that. Oh, that's too bright.
Where have you got? Oh, it's too bright. Ed's turning his.
got to get his lighting right for his girlfriends.
Oh,
Yeah, that's good. Ta-da!
No, we thought this would be a bit of a rest for Ed in the middle of the scene.
Yeah. I mean, interestingly, the other process with this was we couldn't shoot this in front of an audience because it was basically impossible to do. We did think about doing it and then change the voices later. But we then thought, well, actually, we've got to throw some resources into this post-dubbing, which was pretty intense. So we played it to an audience and it got laughs that way. And so, like as if the whole show was pre-recorded as opposed to just part of it and then shown to an audience. And in the final dubbing, funnily enough, going back to what you were saying, Rob, in the actual dubbing, it was easier for Craig to dub Chris than the other way round because Chris had already sort of formed the right mouthing for Craig to copy. Whereas Chris was great, but it was harder for him to hit the sync.
Robert's asking that very question, Ed. So just to get it right, none of this had an audience. This was the only episode we've done, I think, where there was no audience.
Yeah. And it was shown to an audience. I think that there was a place at the BBC called the Paris.
Yes, Paris Theatre, that's right.
Paris Theatre. We showed it there, yeah. And it got a reasonable battle last because the other problem was cutting it together with the knowledge that there were going to be jokes and laughs. But we're used to that in pre-record anyway. When
you were acting out the scenes on the floor, who spoke what? They spoke their own lines or they spoke each other's lines?
They spoke their own scripted lines, as the other character, and then they dubbed on top of it later.
So they just spoke that in an ordinary voice. They didn't attempt to do an impression.
Oh no. They did both try, and Chris was very good, and Craig's was good too. But obviously Chris had the edge.
And so then you went back, cut it all together, and then they did a final, like on a looping session on a movie. They actually did the final.
Absolutely.
Final picture.
Yeah. Full ADR on those scenes, obviously, when they're playing each other. And then, trying to also, when we're shooting it, leave room for laughs where we thought they were going to come, so that when the laughs actually did come from the audience, it didn't swamp the next incoming line.
And put a few in where you made a mistake?
No, never, Paul.
Never.
No, it never happened.
All right, well, let's get it rolling then.
Tell me when, Rob.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, press. And we should have a starfield and the ship. Yes, there we go.
We got the ship coming in. I think I got it right this time, everybody. Maybe.
Wow. Hurrah. Hurrah. And now, this idea hadn't been, somebody's asked, floating around for a while. This was new to this series. And it was sort of based on the idea that, the kind of earnings we were on at the time. When you borrowed a mate's car, and it would be like 17 years old and abandoned by a Turkish taxi driver, and they'd say, when you steer to the right, you have to steer more to the right because the back wheel comes out because the handbrake's never truly off. And you think, get this bloody thing to a garage, mate. It's a death trap. And I just thought it would be interesting to do that with somebody's body, because you accept all these little quirks, these aches and pains, the way you lean to one side, because and you don't sort of notice them after a while. But if somebody else came into your body, they would, and that was where this idea really came from.
On these sequences here with Chris looking at the screen, we experimented with, I don't know if I've done it on that shot, we experimented when he's looking head onto the screen of actually reflecting what was on the screen onto his head, which I'd seen in a movie, and I thought, this will be easy, and it wasn't. But it sort of worked. It's more difficult than I thought it would be. So Scutter's gone mad. We get a nice Scutter mad shot at the beginning. Of this one.
To get back at the Scutters who were going mad all the bloody time.
Yeah, you're just behaving normally.
I like that. It looks like Rimmer knows what he's doing a bit, and it's quite.
Yeah, suddenly he's very competent. They're actually saving the ship from a major crisis.
And Danny Stevenson is saying that would be an interesting way to diagnose a condition. It really, wouldn't it? The doctor in. And now you've got me thinking of a different story, Danny. But I thought of it first. So you can bugger off.
Yes, so Craig has just set off the auto-destruct button trying to get food.
Wasn't it? This was just standard BBC graphics, wasn't it?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Oh,
They played they were played in there live. They were played into the studio. They weren't put on afterwards.
Where is this was shooting? Because it looks like you decided to keep Danny in some kind of cellar for the most of the episode.
Not intentional, I can assure you.
Who was the voice of the vending machine? Was it Tony? I thought it was Tony then.
Could well have been.
But I don't think it was in this one, was it? Mike Agnew?
It could have been Mike.
Jimmy Nile, obviously. Joe gets it right every time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jimmy used to hang around the studios a lot and just come in and do a little voiceover now and then. he wasn't busy at the time.
Really? Self-destruct.
Somebody was asking us earlier to do the zoom in each other's characters, but I should point out we have nothing like the skills to.
No, I'd have to take it away and
We
post
might
up.
try that at a closing party episode or something. Yeah, at the end of season.
Yeah, trying the mind swap. This is where it all comes up. Interesting dissolve. Another highly sophisticated electronic piece of equipment wrapped around Craig's head. Trust me, in those days, guys, that was top-end science fiction engineering, that was.
Nothing to do with Hoovers.
Lucy, at the time, Jimmy Nile was a very big TV star. He starred in a huge ITV hit comedy called Avi Design Pet, which is what made his name. And at this time, he would have been a very, very big.
Yes, he even got a hit single with Crocodile's Shoes, which was awful.
That's right. That's right. He was in everything.
I thought it was all right, Crocodile Shoes. Nice little track.
Yes, you did. You also think you're handsome.
Avi Design Pet is a good old box set to go and get out if you don't know it. By Clement Lefrene, the original. One of the original writing couples. Did you respect them, Rob? I mean, they're porridge, of course. So.
Oh, Clement Lefrene, Heroes.
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 Yeah.
Avi Design Pet. Which was produced by Alan McEwen, who was Tracy Ullman's husband, and employed Ed and myself to do Girls on Top. So there you go. All goes round.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And Ruby wrote to him after the first episode and said, "Get this man Ed by out of here." Paul Jackson foisted him upon us so that he can go off and do other jobs, and he is not competent.
Yeah, that's true. The short red-headed one did try to get me fired off Girls on Top.
Anyone tried to get him fired.
In fact, ladies and gentlemen, what happened was I then consulted my producer, Paul Jackson, to go, what do I do with this situation with this slightly difficult artist? And he said, the thing is, you really need to endear yourself to her and, you know, get her on side. And of course, I bloody overdid it.
Ended up this bloody series getting married, which is not what I meant.
Lucy was asking rather excitedly, it wasn't she married to you? I think she was hopeful there that.
Yeah, yes. Was that Lucy?
It's Craig's orgasm.
This is not, this is not a technical effect. Craig had the ability to be able to make one of his eyes go cross-eyed.
Yes, that was brilliant. That was, he is acting in the, and also, but the technical effect with the syringe, Ed, is very good.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, thank you. But that was clever. Look.
Oh,
well done, Craig.
Come face, Andy, please. I hope not. I really hope for everybody's sake that's not true.
That is, it is. I can vouch for it.
What's the question?
Ask me why.
That is come face.
Think of the children.
Are the children watching? Oh, sorry. Molly, I'm sorry. I assume that there aren't children involved at this stage. Daddy, what are they talking about?
She hasn't really got the children.
Yeah, Farmer Gone Bad. Stop it. Hey,
This is a switch, actually.
Oh, I'm way behind on chat line. It's got stuck. Okay, here it is.
I'm glad you enjoyed the Beatles book.
Talking about plugging books, I'll be doing that later.
Oh, will you?
The woman who tried to get me fired from Girls on Top has got a book out. Okay, so they don't self-destruct and the milkshake comes out in the standard Red Dwarf style graphic milkshake bottle.
We get a graphic of a toffee crisp from the 23rd century, for God's sake.
Danny just did a little effect. He did this on the thing, and we tried to sort of make it look like it was a wipe, and then it revealed it was his arms. It just looked like his arms. But anyway, it's a good idea at the time. Great earring.
Great earring. I do like the earring, yeah.
Toffee crispy.
Somebody just saw it, presumably, and thought, that'll do for Cat.
Looked like Pepto-Bismol, you're right. It's the same type of bottle.
David Wallace, Seinfeld used to talk about specificity in comedy. That's absolutely right. I wouldn't argue with him even if it wasn't, because he's brilliant. But yes, but it doesn't have to be an existing brand for you to be specific about it.
It's the classic is Victoria Wood made hobnobs famous and funny, and just something about hobnobs that she could say it.
Yeah,
It was just funny.
all the time, of course.
Specificity is absolutely, and Seinfeld is the master of that recognizable detail.
Yeah, the bunk scenes. This is they disappeared after this, didn't they?
He did steal Robert Scarpool. Sorry, I missed the name there. He did. He did steal Robert Scarpool, and unhappily, I think, because it wouldn't have cost him anything to have acknowledged that. And it was an absolute straightforward lift, and he made $1 million out of it. So.
Was that coffee with comic?
Cars and comics in cars with coffee.
Yeah.
And it was Robert Scarpool.
You're right, we did have hobnobs in Bottom. Yeah, we had to try them out on Wimbledon Common.
Hobnobs are definitely a comedy biscuit. There is no question.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say alternative comedy biscuit.
I just didn't want to pick that. You had to dry them out on Wimbledon Common.
Yeah, we shot Bottom in the studio. We were pretending in Wimbledon studio. We built the entire set, was a bit of the Common. And at one stage, the biscuits go into a lake. We had a lake. And so they have to be dried out. And there's a very funny, but probably untransmittable line that they talk about there, about the film Deep Throat. That's all I can mention.
Deep Throat and Hobnob sounds like a good guy creating in there somewhere.
Actually, I think I can say, because I've said it, the gag was, I think, have you seen that film? Because they're hungry. He says, have you seen that film where they all eat each other? And he went, yeah, what's it called? Deep Throat. Yeah, that's right.
Where they all eat.
Sorry. Sorry, children.
Now the children still here. Anybody mad enough to still have children in the room?
Now, this was hard because I didn't believe personally ever that Lister would let Rim have his body, but then I thought the only way in really was laziness. You know, someone who would get it fit so he didn't have to go through the pain, but it's a stretch. And I also don't know why the resurrected officer was brown. That doesn't ring any bells to me.
Why wasn't it one of the known names that we suddenly out of nowhere, Carol Brown emerges? Who did the voice for Carol Brown?
I think it was Leah Williams, I think.
No way.
Really? And she doesn't get credit for it?
So,
Yeah, she came in and dubbed for it.
so Diva.
I might be wrong. Anyone? Yes? No, I'm right. Yeah.
Only saying Leah. But she doesn't get a credit unless I've skipped the credits, did I?
How did we get her? She's awesome.
Well, she
Well,
wasn't.
at the day, you know, sometimes
around as
Rob, we can pick the stars before they become one. Occasionally, some of us do that.
She did bits for us, Rob, way before she became this massive stage and screen actor.
Yeah, in fact, she was in Girls on Top. There's a shock of the size of his penis. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that word.
No, not with the kids.
Look, who's invited these kids? Since when did this become a universal certificate? Yeah.
Just this week. We're going to drop it next week. It's fun to play with it this week.
Yeah, what's wrong with that set? Look at that set. It's great.
Is that corridor still the same corridor, Ed, as right back to series 1? No.
Yeah, structurally, it has a few changes.
A copy of that original corridor that we first see at the very beginning of the end.
No, it's not that Leia Williams from Blue Peter, you silly sod. No.
This is a moment, everybody. He's cut his dreadlocks off.
This used to be an annual thing at the end of the series party.
Yeah.
Be the traditional cutting off of the locks and hurling them into the crowd like a bridal bouquet. I got a set once. I'm not sure I wanted to keep them.
Well, I had a set on the back of...
oh, you did?
Yeah. That we sold at DJ last time.
They are real hair, I think, yeah.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
No, I think you had them wove in for the...
They're brought from a
Now,
convent, aren't they?
Coming up,
that's where you get
what I would call a stunt. But Craig is very happy to do all his own stunts. And here we go. In 3, 2, 1, there. Straight into the mashed potato. And pour gravy on your head.
And the gravy. But it's a very good, again, it's a lovely reading of human nature, isn't it? You know, as you say, the stretchy reason is I'm too lazy to do exercise myself. Somebody else can do them for me.
Yeah.
Because the moment Rimmer's in that body, all he wants to do is eat and drink and
have sensual pleasures because he hasn't had any.
Yeah,
a cigar.
And he's got a gun at the top of his bunk.
He has a pair of dueling pistols.
Yeah, I forgot about them.
Yeah, that's weird, but they come in, don't they, in later on?
Yeah, they're badly placed there. It should be slightly above his head. We'll let it go.
See how Chris is hitting the vowels?
Yeah, yeah.
Correct vowel shapes.
Buzz. He's got buzz. How do you say? Bass?
Yeah.
Buzz.
We do the double K for the double T sometimes, like a keckle. We have a little keckle.
A little keckle.
So I was saying earlier, for those who weren't there...
Stairs. What about that? I'll go to the bottom of our stairs.
Go to the foot of our stairs. I'll go to the foot of our...
Wow, isn't it? And you're always saying that, Rob. You're always saying that.
I'll go to the foot of our stairs, I said.
I'll go to the bottom of our stairs.
Was the costume intentionally Captain Scarlet? A question I've often asked. I've never dared actually ask Howard for it.
No, we never asked. I think it was just a coincidence.
Now
this scene here with the...
yeah, the jacuzzi.
Jacuzzi. I think that was a cutaway from an exterior. We never had that in the studio.
Didn't we have... is it a different app where Crichton has a lighter in his thumb?
Yeah, I think we did a quick cutaway there for this episode. I think
Crichton was in that scene.
Danny with his hair down is unusual.
I love Danny's really coming into his own.
Yes, yeah.
The character acting.
He got electrocuted.
I love this as well. Because there are rumours, of course, and this is kind of an oblique reference to it, that over the course of a season, William Shatner would be at the snacks table, and by the end of the season, he'd have to be wearing a man girdle.
Well, American Studios craft services, as they're called, are an unbelievable thing. Richard Curtis said to me that when he'd done something in America, and I said to him, what struck you? He said, I could have recorded a series for the cost they spent on the craft services table, which is the catering that they put out the back.
Fabulous. They've got everything. It's a cool...
Now, why Glista would be wearing a female corset when they make male corsets is beyond me, but yeah.
They'd run out of male corsets during the course of the garden. There's only a female one left. And it's a better joke.
Funny.
As Ronnie Corbett once said, so you can get out of my shot and I can do the line to camera.
Did he say that?
Said it to an extra who was asking the director, what's my motivation for a four-part actor? And the director was saying, could you just go there and do the peanuts? It was in Prince of Denmark behind a bar. But you just go and he said, I don't think the peanuts need doing. The director said, well, no, but just go there and wash a glass of something. He said, no, I can't. Why have I got to go over there? And Corbett said, so you get out of my close-up and I can do the gag. Ronnie, who, by the way, was the loveliest man. I mean,
Frozen.
You've frozen?
Frozen.
I'm all right.
Your
I'll
video.
tell you what's happening. There's a shot of Red Dwarf, and
Your
now
video
we've
is
got
in.
a very, very underlit shot of
Oh my God.
Rimmer / Lister, and a shot of Lister / Rimmer scoffing behind a sheet.
Let it go, Jason Murray says. If you're frozen, let it go.
Let it go.
Are you done?
I'm trying to. I can't even quit it. To
Right.
start it again. Here we go. Force quit. There you go. It will eventually do that. But carry on talking, guys. Till
Okay. Well, now it's another blank scene. He's discovered he's cut his locks off. I was just saying earlier, for those who joined up after the beginning, obviously all these voices were transposed in a dub afterwards. But one of the things was that because Chris could get the vowel shape so well, it was actually easier for Craig to dub it afterwards than it was for Chris, although Chris's accuracy was fantastic.
It just shows you, though, what the skill that Chris has, because all you normally do is hear it. Whereas in this situation, you're forced to look at what his mouth's doing.
Yeah.
You realize that, in fact, his mouth is copying the way that another speaker would speak, which is extraordinary, isn't it?
Yeah. So now we're back to normal. One of the other things was, because we didn't have an audience, if you kind of analyze this show shot by shot, it's a lot more precise, because when you do have an audience, you're under a lot of time pressure and you kind of have to get things done immediately. We're shooting this as effectively 2 days of pre-record. We could sort of just retake shots because we felt we could just improve them a little bit look-wise, rather than having to do them for performance. Because when you shoot in front of the audience, you kind of want to get through it as quickly as you can, otherwise the audience get fatigued and you lose them.
Damien, the thing about real products was always an issue. In fact, it's just they got a bit more picky about it. You were never supposed to show a commercial product. I mean, Ed will remember, all of us runners and kids, whenever there's a piano on in shot, you had to run around and tape over the Bosendorf or the Steinway. Like people would run out and buy a Steinway because they saw somebody playing it on television. But and Kellogg's packets, you had to, felt tip out the thing. So it was always an issue, and I suspect it was just one of those. At this time, it was they were had a particular downer on it. I suspect.
I suspect
Very
so.
often used to not bother, but then occasionally you'd get a directive saying we must not have commercial products.
David Wallace is asking, is it hard leaving the right gaps for the laugh?
Yes, it was. I mean, occasionally you can isolate a camera and you can extend a gap if there's a laugh. And as in like last week with Polymorph, there was such a huge laugh that we had to pull up one of the isolated cameras and extend the shot just to get through for the laugh. But you kind of anticipate them. And to be honest, I can't remember, but we might well have showed this to an audience. Well, we did show it to an audience to get the laughs, but whether I went into another edit after that to tighten up where we'd left the gaps too long, I don't think so. I think we sort of got it about right.
Chris was always an absolute genius at that. I remember going on one of the early shoots and watching him, and I thought, his timing's all completely off. What's he doing? Why isn't he But then you play it to the audience. He was perfect.
So the masters of it with the two Ronnies. They because quite a lot of the two runs, apart from the film, of course, in the middle, but we used to pre-record quite a lot, and they were geniuses at knowing how long the laugh would be and making it look natural when they were doing it in the studio. It's a real gift that really good comedians have.
It's just anticipating where the laughs are going to be. You're right.
And how long they're going to be, and kind of acting as if they're hearing the laugh. I think that's the real skill. You react as an actor as if you're actually hearing the laugh when it's not there, which is a real skill.
Well, it's a weird thing, isn't it? Because they can't step out of character and pretend there really is an audience, but they have to sort of acknowledge the laugh somehow. It's very... The good guys are really good at it. It's a skill.
I think it was Molly mentioning earlier, Aid in Young Ones playing the pregnant part. He was brilliant at that, but Aid can distend his stomach in a quite ordinary way. We didn't need any makeup or prosthetics for that. He did it himself with his own stomach.
He did. I know. It's astonishing, wasn't it? And slightly unpleasant.
What's Lister drinking?
I think he was drinking something, that white liqueur, what's it called?
Albacore.
Albacore, could it be
Oh,
Malibu? Might have been Malibu.
Malibu. The Malibu's clear. You'd have to put coconut liquid in it.
Lovely set this, folks, we found. This is the, when we were pre-recording, this was I'm trying to remember where this was. I think it was a disused...
Fabulous deep stairwell, isn't it, Ed? I mean, just goes.
Yeah, it was a wonderful place. We all had to wear hard hats, and I kept hitting my head all the time, but it was a great place.
Sudbury. Well, Danny's on a roll at the moment. He thinks it was in Sudbury. God knows why or how he'd know that.
Oh, Sunbury. Yeah, it could be. It could have been the pumping station at Sunbury, but we also went somewhere else, but that's a good call. It could have been there.
We did film some bits there, didn't we? And it wasn't far from the studios, of course, when we were down.
Yeah, it's very close to Shepperton, so it's very possible. But that place looked a little bit too big for it. Well, I'll check it out. But you could well be right. Box of donuts.
see in there with the drilling pistol, well planted.
Yes, what was that reference to white midget? It was, they definitely say in the dialogue,
In the subtitles, though, it says the midget.
the midget, exactly. What was that? Just a mistake?
I think I'd wanted to get rid of Blue
Midget.
and
And you thought you'd
I don't know.
have a plot to call it white midget and then it would go away.
That was the original name of Starbug until we saw the bug.
Blue midget, white midget.
That's a nice chase here. This is where our attempt at, we did all right, with intergalactic kind of car chase. That's a nice bit, where the Starbug hits a rock.
So that's a whole big chunk of a shot on a model stage, Ed. So
Yeah, it is. This was quite model heavy, this particular episode. But it wasn't particularly heavy in any other... Oh, yeah, this is a good crash shot, I think, coming up. Yeah, there's that. Yeah, good crash shot. Good work, Peter Ragg and his team.
Yeah.
white midget comes from white giant, I suppose.
The smegging, Danny, smegging killed me. Classic line.
R.I.P. Starbuck, but they've got hundreds of them in the holder. They just bring the next one up, as we said before.
The Scutters fixed this one. Oh no, wait a minute, they've gone mad.
Only one of them.
The fleet of Scutters. We normally had 2 working Scutters at any one time of the Invisible Army.
Did you have worries, Rob, about whether they could actually pull this one off? I mean,
I'd say this was the episode I had least worries about. I was much more worried about, say, time slides, which seemed impossible to me, but we didn't mention that to Ed. So where are we at now? I've got him on the bunk with his.
Well, there was a chase between Midget and Starbug, and he's back, and he's got his locks on an elastic band around a bandage. Does that make sense to you, Rob?
Yes, I know. I'm there.
come on, Andy. We've had the ZX joke before. That's a repeat, Andy.
Yeah, I know. No apologies. No apologies for that one.
Time slides is next week, Lucy. Yeah.
Yeah, and the cat. Nice tag. No, I didn't think there was going to be any problem at all.
Yeah, this is a nice tag.
I do feel a bit strange about Crichton's morality here. I'm pretty sure that as his character developed, he would never be chloroforming unless to...
Well, not the second time as well. Then he does it again to the cat, which I think.
Yeah.
Well, once he's done it, either he can or he can't, you know.
And you can rely on Danny to go for it.
No AI element. He doesn't learn from his mistakes.
Yeah.
Okay, so a fun episode. Like I say, I think it's a bit flat because it was played into the audience rather than live, and you certainly get a woomph from the audience, don't you, Paul?
Yeah.
It's funny, and I'd forgotten that it was completely shown as a finished piece, Ed. And I just watching it this morning, I just thought, this is just a tiny bit flat. I think I thought to myself, coming off that run of 3 extraordinary episodes, maybe it's just, you know, we're back to a more normal.
I mean,
but I think you're right. It hasn't got that.
yeah.
Their performances get lifted back. And whenever young writers, or they don't have to be young, but novice writers come to me and say, would you recommend doing it live or without an audience? And I always say, you've got to. Especially when you're starting out, you've got to do it in front of an audience. You learn so much more quickly. And when you put your stuff out there and it's not getting laughs, that sticks with you. You do not want that to happen again, ever. It's the worst thing.
I think the other thing is that there is an invisible relationship between the performers and the audience. And, you know, one actor said it really well. He said, okay, so I get it now. You have to acknowledge that they're there, but ignore them at the same time. I said, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's really.
But it does improve. It does completely affect a performer. And you can tell, like with this show, you can tell that when the audience is missing.
Even when they're this good at the timing.
Yeah, exactly. And then you know, these are good experienced performers by now, but even these guys, it's that invisible bond that you can see on the screen in the performances. It's weird.
Oh, we lost Lucy for a minute. The Wi-Fi went.
Oh, sorry, Lucy. I want to tell you what we said.
Yeah.
And you want me to do something about it, Lucy? At the point of telling us all, I'm not quite sure what the hell we're supposed to comment on that, Lucy. Really sorry, love.
Oh, we were plagued there. I completely lost that computer. It's packed now, but just in time for the end.
Alex, excuse me, there are children watching.
Yeah, but
yeah, got you.
enough to understand that word, then they won't object, will they?
Yeah. You can't say that word, mother.
I can't say that word. Children watching. Right.
Yes, so next week, time slides, and we can promise you a very, very,
very,
very special game.
Very special booking.
Yeah, yeah.
Time slides. And you all think who it is, of course.
Why does everybody think it's going to be Hitler? I don't...
A different episode. Wrong episode.
Well, you've tumbled us, guys. We have indeed got a recording of Adolf. In these couple times, he has words of wisdom to say, I'm sure. No, it's not Adolf, but it's a good booking.
Time slides was a real technical challenge. I mean, just in terms of how do we tell this story?
Come on, for God's sake.
And listen, the other two can go, and I'll carry on talking to you guys about how difficult and complicated it was to make.
When do we get to the easy one, Ed?
What easy one? These are written by bloody Rob Grant. Nothing's easy.
I'm not saying anything, but somebody's guessed it.
Somebody's guessed it.
Somebody's guessed it. I'm not saying who.
Somebody's guessed it dead right, have they?
Yeah.
Have they? Oh, okay. Right, there you go. Well, we made it too easy for you folks, but turn up and see if you were right.
Yeah. Okay, guys. See you next week.
Lucy, are you just checking, Lucy? Are you with us at the moment, Lucy? Are you there? I'd just like to know.
Oh, sorry. I've just got to do one shout out. I've got to do one shout out to Jane.
Who have you got to shout at? Yes, shout out.
Sorry, I got a shout out to Jane, who was her birthday. Sorry, I didn't do that last week. And also, there's this new book called And Now for the Good News, The Future with Love by Ruby Wax. Please buy it. We need the money. Thank you.
If you hold it up, that's how you do a plug. You hold the book up.
Oh, yeah. Just imagine this is it.
Is it a pop-up? She usually writes pop-ups.
It was on here earlier. Giving it away to someone.
I'm giving you a cut on the basis of...
I'll hold it up next week, sorry.
Right, anybody who's dropped out or frozen, do let us know, please. Sorry, Lex.
Okay, guys. See you next week. Take care.
See you next week. Take care. Bye.
Bye.